Good evening, America. Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show. Tonight, we're going to talk about something a lot of people on the right still won't say out loud. Candace Owens has turned Charlie Kirk's death into a product, not a search for truth, not a demand for justice, a product, one that pays, one that grows her platform, one that keeps her super chats coming, while a widow and 2 children are still trying to live without their father. Charlie Kirk is dead. His organization is still standing. His wife is still grieving. And Candace has spent the months since his murder treating the entire situation like the next chapter in her personal content empire. Every new question, every new dramatic implication, every new attack on the people closest to Charlie gets packaged, clipped, and sold. The algorithm rewards it, the audience rewards it, and Candace's bank account rewards it most of all. This is not the behavior of someone who simply wants answers. This is the behavior of someone who saw a high-traffic tragedy and decided to make it her brand extension. Let's look at the record. Candace Owens has been fired or forced out of almost every major platform that ever gave her a real stage. The Daily Wire, previous media relationships, corporate partnerships, the pattern is consistent. She arrives, she escalates, she burns the house down, and then she tells her audience that the house has always been the problem. It's never her judgment. It's never her methods. It's always the establishment. The Jews, the controlled opposition, or whatever new villain of the week fits the narrative. This is not courage. That is a professional pattern. And that pattern continued in a debate with Andrew Wilson. Patrick Bet-David put them on stage, tried to force both sides to defend their actual claims. What we got was classic Candace. She was not prepared on the substance. She did not bring strong affirmative evidence for the most serious claims she has always floated. What she brought was a skill set she has perfected over years. Twisting words, controlling the emotional temperature, and making her opponent look like the problem. She's an expert at this. She can take a single sentence, strip it of context, and sell it as proof of something far larger. She can demand, quote, overwhelming evidence, quote, from the other side while offering almost none of her own. She can shift the burden, pivot the emotion, and play the victim the moment the heat rises. That is not preparation. That is manipulation. Andrew Wilson walked in claiming the evidence against Tyler Robinson was overwhelming. Under pressure, that claim softened, and he struggled with certain details. That is a fair criticism. But his core point still stands, and Candace never really answered it. Skepticism is not evidence. Pointing out gaps is not the same thing as proving a frame-up. Demanding proof while producing almost none yourself is not truth-seeking. It's a debate tactic. Candace is excellent at debate tactics. She's excellent at making people feel like she is winning even when she has not proven her case. What she is not excellent at is producing the affirmative evidence her strongest accusations require. And that brings us back to the money. She accepted a high-profile, high-dollar debate. She took the stage, she performed her usual rhetoric routine, and then she went right back to the same content cycle that has defined the last several months. More questions, more implications, more attacks on anyone who doesn't fully accept her framing. The debate was never going to end the content stream. It was always going to feed it. Patrick Bet-David tried to create a controlled environment. Andrew Wilson tried to force her to produce the evidence. She largely avoided doing so while still claiming the moral high ground. That's the pattern. Charlie Kirk spent his adult life building institutions and arguing in public without needing to destroy the people. He never needed to destroy the people standing next to him. Candace has made a career out of doing the opposite. She enters spaces, extracts their values, burns relationships, and then sells the ashes as proof that she was almost the only honest one in the room. I'm not saying every official question about the official story is illegitimate. I'm saying the way Candace has conducted herself since Charlie Kirk's death has been self-serving, reckless, and profitable. Those three things can be true at the same time. She has been fired from everywhere for any reason. She twists words for a reason. She turns tragedy into content for a reason, and the reason is not pure devotion to truth. Charlie Kirk is not a prop. His death is not a content series, and the people who treat it that way should be named for what they are doing. That's where we start tonight. We're going to walk through the debate, the claims, the performance, and the pattern. No free passes, no sacred cows, no pretending the rhetorical skill is the same as being right. This is the Ryan Samuel Show. Do not go anywhere. We have a great show for you tonight. Do not forget, you can call into the show, 561-786-2916. We will be right back. All right, so this wasn't like some crazy, like actual debate. It was more of just two people sitting down and kind of having a conversation. Andrew Wilson is kind of notorious for being a hard ass and really being a prick. We didn't really see that, which kind of shocked me. I think he's trying to maybe take a step back from that role of who he is into something different. I'm not really sure what's going on. He was featured on the Tim Pool podcast for years, and then he kind of went off and just started debating and became a professional debate and professional debater and just kind of made his notoriety that way. He's been around. I've seen his videos for years. I would not say he's like a really great debater. I would say he can kind of hold a conversation and he can kind of go back, but sometimes he gets his facts messed up. He's not like an expert. What I really would have wanted to see was Candace Owens versus like Ben Shapiro or me. I tear her to shreds in a debate. But here's a clip. And we're going to watch this. We're going to break this down. We're going to go over this. But here is basically, so all of Candace's minions who are so Team Candace, pro Candace, go Max Candace, stay-at-home moms, full of drama, very low intellect. Yeah, I criticize her audience for sure, 100%. Because if you buy what she's smelling, you're not the sharpest tool in the shed. But they're going to come out and defend her no matter what. Andrew Wilson does not have an incredibly core base like Candace Owens has. But let's watch this clip and let's judge for ourselves.
The question, you're just not following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like,
right.
Can you tell me one
Then let's do the counter. You can really, no, this is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play clips out of context, put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the question.
This is fair. Name all 7 since you've been following the case.
Okay, sure. You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like
name all 7.
And I
can you name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure. You don't have to
do it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
You don't have to put your fingers up.
Okay, hang on. Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries a death sentence in the state of Utah.
Right. So murder. So he said murder. And now he said murder. He doesn't know exactly what the charges are. Candace obviously is going to know more about this case because she's dove into every detail to try to twist it and turn it into something it's not. right? He should have came prepared, knowing at least what the charges are and why the charges should stick. This is something you should be doing if you're going to debate Candace Owens about this case. But it appears that he didn't. Now they're using, he doesn't even know what the charge. He said murder, right? The guy's obviously being charged for murder, but this is what Candace does. Oh, well, no, it's not murder. It's aggravated murder. See, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't. So how could you possibly? This is what she does. She twists things around.
No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
And
Next.
so just for people, no, don't. I don't have to do it in a time limit. There's nothing going on. And just to explain to people the difference of why that really matters and shows that he doesn't actually care about this at all is because aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined,
Just
and because
avoiding
it
the
carries
question.
a death sentence. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay,
You're
I'm
just going to
waiting.
recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are intimidated when you try to put a time constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate
I got
someone.
it. I got it. Give me the other ones.
The more you cut me off, the longer I'll take. Do you want to just wait for me to finish of why that's a big difference so that
No,
people
I just
don't walk
want
away?
you to list the charges.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. You just don't get to pretend that there's a time constraint for me to do that.
Well, how long does it take you to list 7 charges?
Because I'm speaking. You just got to.
It sounds like you're just delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them,
Then
and I'm
tell
going to
me
say
them.
again because you're going to get embarrassed. You don't have to rush this. I'm also showing an example of a very flawed debate strategy. I
Okay,
actually
well,
am
I
under
got
no
one.
time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering. And the
What's
final
the specific charges, though?
that is them. Obstruction of justice,
Both of
obstruction
those-
of justice, witness tampering.
Okay, and there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why he's being
No,
charged
no,
with
no.
it.
Just the charges and then 7?
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it. So then he's being charged with murder. You just say aggravated murder. That's the distinction. You just want to
It's a massive. It's
Got
like
it.
you cannot
Massive.
say murder versus aggravated
massive
murder.
distinction.
This gets to the entire crux of why him being up for the death sentence. And I actually find
It's really not that big of a difference.
the defense's filing about why this is not aggravated to be very compelling of why it's not aggravated murder. I actually think that if the state was going to even try to pull this off, they should have charged him with just murder. And then I do also, again, want to stress to audiences that debate strategy, it's some sport. I think he thinks it's a blood sport. It's not. It's about being right and being principled when you're engaging. And you can make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but at least be genuine in pretending that you care about this case enough to know one of the 7 charges that are up against Tyler Robinson when you say the evidence is overwhelming that he's guilty. If you would like to move to final statements, I'm fine. I want to make sure Andrew has had the time that he has requested.
I think your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked you about. If
Sure.
you guys want to pull that up just to confirm the 7 you went through. Can you guys zoom in a little bit for
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness, and count 7.
Violent
I said offense in the presence of a
in front of
minor.
a child?
Yeah.
That's
So
what I said.
5, 6, tampering witness, 3rd-degree felony. Now, I did notice something I just was curious about. If I'm just wondering. When you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication
Okay.
with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to do it because you're just going to get double embarrassed. Where's my phone?
Do you
should
want to
do
see it?
I'm
You
just
can.
curious. Yeah.
You can literally do that. Here you go. PBD, you're the moderator.
Okay.
Take it.
Let's see
See
it.
if anyone was texted at all during this debate
All right.
about the violent charges or anything.
I'm looking through this. You give me permission.
You
so I'm
have
looking
full
at, I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go through
names.
my phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mhm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
so
a compliment.
he's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission. I'm
Yes.
just going to read 3 of them
Yes.
to 1132 because after that, I don't need to read it.
And you know their texts. Could have been Telegram. Could have been something.
All
like
I
that.
have is Signal. You can check that too. I only have Signal. Telegram I used in Russia,
Okay.
and that was a download for
I'll
Russia.
take your word for it.
Yeah,
Then-
I don't need.
Don't do something like that unless you know the answer, Andrew Wilson. Now everybody's coming out saying that they're getting cooked. She pulled out her phone. Did somebody by chance text you? Okay, maybe not. Maybe somebody Facebook messaged her. Maybe she has disappearing messages on her Instagram or her Snapchat. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. But the issue here is that she asks him to name one charge. He names murder, right? Now, just because she can list all 7 charges doesn't mean that she's creating some conspiracy out of nowhere in order to put more money in her pocket. Just because she can list it all does not mean that she's right about her position or that people don't have a right to question her position. Let's watch this clip.
Just out of curiosity, are you between 0 to 100? What is the likelihood that you think Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk and killed him?
Based on the evidence right now, I don't know. I'd say 75, 85%.
Candace?
0%.
0%.
I'm at 0.
So
with what we've seen in terms of the evidence, I'm at 0%.
There is no evidence.
Only,
this is what she does. She just says, "Oh, what I've seen in the evidence." Okay, what evidence? I mean, that's Andrew Wilson. That would have been a great time for you to say, "Okay, perfect. Let me stop you right there. Name the evidence that you can present right now here in this room that would prove, or at least give some explanation as to why you believe there is a 0% chance that the guy who admitted to killing Tyler Robinson didn't actually kill Tyler Robinson, that the guy whose father turned him into the police because his grandfather's gun was used and he recognized his son from the surveillance footage. Explain to me what evidence you have that suggests there's a 0% chance. She never has. She has never given any piece of evidence that suggests anything.
Oh, that maybe somebody was behind him as a patsy influencing him. You're not even saying that he didn't even shoot Charlie Kirk.
Right. I would, if you said, was he involved that day, as
Right.
I have consistently said on my platform, I would say yes, he was. I don't know what role he played, but as the shooter, 0%.
Do you have any evidence for it?
For what? My percentage?
The fact that he didn't shoot and kill Charlie Kirk.
Yes, which I'm hoping we're going to get to all of the evidence that he feels that he has. I mean, I'm not even convinced that Charlie was shot from the rooftop on Losi that day, based on the evidence that has been.
Do you think he was shot?
I do not think that Charlie was shot from a 30-06 from Losi.
But just shot at all.
I don't know. I think that a projectile hit Charlie, and I'm open to other people's presentations, but I have not seen any compelling evidence that Charlie was shot by a 30-06.
Can we see maybe if we're going to have an olive branch to each other, if maybe we can establish what we consider the facts of the case to be first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're not sure if he was actually shot. You're open to alternative theories.
He was definitely hit with a projectile of some description. If we're talking about was he shot from a gun, a 30-06, I would say definitively no.
Okay.
It defies common sense to think that he had a Superman neck, and even if he did have a Superman neck, which has been demonstrated, I think actually recently a YouTuber actually set up Valhalla steel cages and shot it, and it went through. So under no circumstance will I.
So at least not a 30-06.
Definitively not.
It also depends on the type of round. Round shatter, they mushroom, hollow point rounds, soft rounds, target rounds. It depends on what kind of round you're using. Candace Owens is not a weapons expert. Neither are half of these morons that are jumping on podcasts and saying that they are. Bullets do weird things when they go into bodies. Very weird things when they go into bodies.
30-06 from Losi, 150 feet. No.
But you're not necessarily closing off the avenue that he could have been shot at all.
With maybe a smaller
Caliber? Okay. And then there's some things that I'm going to make concessions on that I do think we need more answers on, and I'm fine with that. And we can get to those things as well. The other thing is in the timeline, one of the things that we dispute, I think, on the timeline is that you think that Robinson drove hours away to a steakhouse in
Yes.
the timeline. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the compelling evidence that you think you have there?
I spoke to the owner of the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and I have seen the receipt. I know the conversation that I had.
I've seen the receipts. I know the conversation that I had that nobody else is privy to. He didn't come on to my show and do an interview with me, but I've seen the receipts. I know the receipts. It's common sense. Everybody knows it, and that's it. Yeah, I can't even believe you're questioning that.
And I think it's enough that, it will be presented, obviously, if this goes to trial. But yes, I do believe that he was in Panguitch, which is near his grandparents' home.
Did he give you an unedited copy of that receipt?
I have seen an unedited copy of that receipt. It was not given to me from the owner. But I want to, before we get into like all the timeline stuff, I want to address what you think is evidence so we can keep this on par with what your claim is.
Well, I think that that's a piece of evidence that's in dispute. And that's why I'm...
Yeah, but
because if
we're
not
trying to get
establishing
to
the
whether there's
timeline-
overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did this.
So that's Andrew. That's Andrew's claim, is that there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did shoot Charlie Kirk. I agree that there is overwhelming evidence, and I would not allow Candace Owens to remotely come close to saying that there's not. So they had some sort of agreement. They had some sort of contract before they conducted this debate. They had mutual terms that they would not ask certain questions or do certain things. Maybe he can't do his normal screw you, you're an idiot, you're a dumbass, what are you talking about? Maybe that was part of it, or he doesn't get paid, right? She's getting paid massive amount of money to do this. I think $300,000, which is the only reason Candace does anything. The only reason Candace does anything. Here is another clip about Erica being complicit in Charlie's murder.
Erica's complicit. If you guys want to play that video.
Could also just ask.
And so right now, their guys are going out and they're going to look for evidence. And then by May, which is fortunately around the corner, then she'll see what they found. So what the F is that performance? How could you sit up there and say, yes, I 100% believe Tyler Robinson did it? That right there is why it is impossible for me to think that Erica Kirk is not complicit somehow. Because what?
Those two thoughts actually don't even follow. How would it be the case that even if Erica Kirk did believe that Tyler Robinson was 100% responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk, let's just say she believed it with every fiber of her being, believed all the evidence, because she did. She just actually did. Would it then follow that somehow she's complicit in his death?
I didn't say complicit in death. You added those two words.
Okay, so what's she complicit in?
Yes. So sowing this narrative that Tyler Robinson is guilty. So you're chopping up clips. Like I said, you didn't have the confidence to come in
tell
debate.
me,
So
what
now
does
you're
that mean?
chopping
What
it
does
up.
complicit mean?
We are showing a clip of her on Barry Weiss, which I can't remember the date that she did that interview. And Erica, when she's
evading responsibility. Candace Owens, I didn't say he was complicit in his death. I didn't say in his death. No, you said after how she's been behaving, how can you say she's not complicit? And Andrew's like, oh, complicit in what then? Complicit in what? This is one thing he's good at, is not allowing to fade away.
asked, "Are you one? Do you feel with 100% certainty that Tyler Robinson did this?" And she says, "I do." Then again, context matters. I sit down with Erica for 4 hours under the assumption that she had some evidence, right? Like I'm like, this is why I did not engage in any like Erica, everyone's questioning what she's wearing and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to wait here because I don't know.
She did nothing but tear her apart.
Just it feels weird to think that, did I think that some of her mannerisms were weird and stuff like that? Yeah, but that's not, you can't convict somebody on weird mannerisms. And then when I sat down with her and I was expecting for her to say, well, I'm obviously the victim on the case and we got to see the shot, taken or this or that, whatever it is. Great. That's why she has that much confidence 2 months ago. And when I sat down with her, it was nothing. It was nothing. Okay. So this is a conversation.
How would that make her complicit?
Complicit. And again, you said complicit in the death of Charlie Kirk.
Complicit in what? Yeah.
Well, if you let me finish my sentence, I could tell you that. But my point being
what
is
she did. He's asked this like 5 times. She keeps circumventing it. He keeps trying to get her to answer it. And what she's doing is delaying and talking in circles until she can create something that she can say.
that then you take a look at this and you go, okay, well, this is weird. Why would you have this confidence? And then when you sit across from somebody and you say, okay, great, I want to go out there and defend you now. I want people to know that you can't say this stuff publicly, but you know more things. And she just blanks. And then she says, well, I'm going to call the lawyer. And she called the lawyer. Again, all of this is on my show. So out of context clips is not going to work because I know what I say on my show. Okay. So we call her lawyer and her lawyer says to us, she calls him on the phone, pardon me. And it's me, her, and Justin Strife. And I'm like, okay, great. What do you guys have? He goes, well, we don't have anything yet. We're not at that phase yet. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't have anything? And he says, well, don't you know how it works? It's a probable cause hearing. So basically the state says that they're going to bring this forward. And now our people go out and they look for the evidence to assert that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And so I asked her directly, her lawyer directly, the phone's in between us. I'm like, wait, so just so I'm clear, you haven't seen anything that the public hasn't seen? And he says, no. So I'm going back in my head and I'm going, okay, so why is Erica saying with such a degree of certainty, like she was sent out to convince the public and people bit, by the way. I remember even Megyn Kelly was like, let's wait. She's going to have access to things. I did think she had access to things that we didn't have. Why express that confidence to the public as opposed to just being like, we don't know yet. I feel confident he's involved. They made an arrest.
I don't understand. How would any of this make her complicit? And in what?
Well, I've already told you. She's complicit.
She never told him that. She never told him that. He kept asking, oh, well, if you would let me finish, I could tell you. And now he's again asking. This is one thing Andrew Wilson is the best at, is not letting you escape a question. He's going to hone in. He's going to corner you. He's going to force you to answer it.
In trying to fool the public into thinking this is some open and shut case.
How is she trying to fool the public into this? If she believes
like, don't look anywhere else.
If she believes that Tyler Robinson killed Kirk, if she believes that, how would that be complicit in anything?
I do.
Are you saying that you think she doesn't believe it?
I don't believe that at that stage she sat down with Barry Weiss that's what she believes. No, but that's my opinion.
Right, but so when you just say complicit, you just mean she believes that Tyler Robinson killed Kirk? That's it?
That's what we were talking about. That's why I said if your strategy was to dice up clips and take it out of context and make it seem like I said she was complicit. Everything. Yeah, but then why not just play the full thing? Like why?
Because we don't have like infinite amounts of time. I'm guessing you probably don't want to watch.
I'm going to go back.
She's a clinical sociopath, master manipulator, the type of woman you will see in family court. We just watched that together. We just broke that down together. Candace Owens is going back and forth and saying, well, I didn't say she's complicit in Charlie's death. I never said she's complicit in Charlie's death. Andrew Wilson, okay, then what's she complicit in? Well, that's not what I was saying in the clip. Okay, awesome. What was she complicit in? Well, I never said she was complicit in Charlie Kirk's death. Again, fine. Then what was she complicit in? Oh, well, if you let me answer, I would tell you. Okay, more BS. Then, okay, again, you still haven't answered what she was complicit in. Oh, I already told you that. No, you didn't. See, this stuff doesn't work when you actually get confronted. Candace Owens never gets confronted. She stands and talks to her microphone, and she lives in her little female lunatic echo chamber with all of these Candace Owens followers that just beef her up like she's actually doing something good, and she's crazy. She's a lunatic. Here's another clip.
And so before we wrap up, final thoughts, I'll come to you first.
Yeah,
we're going to do more. I'm going to play this video, but there's more, right? So we're bouncing around. There's a lot of clips I need to get to. This is the end. And this is Andrew Wilson basically telling her, again, she just sat here and talked crap and didn't prove anything.
Had nothing. Just nothing. For all of her claims of Patsy, nothing. She didn't have a single claim. She didn't have a single solid piece of evidence. She had no positive evidence Israel's involved in anything. No positive evidence that France is involved in anything. No positive evidence TPUSA is involved in anything. No positive evidence that Erica Kirk is involved in anything. When I ask her about her claims about Erica Kirk, yeah, it's just funning. It's just funning, you know? Or, yeah, I do think that she needs to sit down and ask some questions, but, or answer some questions, but you know what? I don't even know if she has. Like, maybe she has. I have no idea. Yes, I'm going to have an official timeline with unconfirmed evidence. That's just fine. Hey, it's hearsay. If that's good enough for the state, it's good enough for me. But my biggest problem with the state is that they're admitting all this hearsay. It's like she's a contradiction machine. On top of all of this, the thing that I wanted to get out of this more than anything else was to just demonstrate one thing. Yes, it's true. I'm not perfect on the case. I'm not going to ever pretend that I am, and never did. But what has been made very clear to me is that there's nobody with an alternative theory that has any evidence for it at all. None. Zero. And the continuous kind of expression, we're running an investigation. What kind of investigation builds a timeline out on a receipt that they don't even confirm? What kind of investigation tries to make these bold claims that Israel's involved and France is involved and all these different players are involved and never shows any evidence? We're just asking questions. It's again, like I said in my opening, it's always intuition, my feelings, how I feel about things, how I think about things. Andrew, how many times did you hear this today? Andrew, you can't tell me how I'm supposed to think. Yeah, nobody's trying to tell you how to think. But you should rationally come to your conclusions based on evidence and facts. And the truth is that 90% of what you're saying is simply intuition based. It came to me in a dream. It's intuition. Almost none of it has any evidence at all. Just, I'm skeptical because these people over here said things, and that makes me skeptical. It's like, but no evidence. Note this to the audience, to everybody watching. You might hate my guts. That's fair enough. I get that. I'm not the most likable man. I understand that too. But there was nothing. I mean, no evidence at all that Tyler Robinson was a patsy that was ever put forward by Candace this entire debate. Now, maybe you could say that we stalemated when it came to whether or not Robinson did it. She says, I found the evidence convincing, or unconvincing. Andrew says he found the evidence convincing. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can't do too much about that, but there was nothing. She had nothing for Robinson being a patsy.
Never does.
Nothing for any of her conspiracies. Nada, zero, zilch. And she backed away on a bunch of them. This is the first time I think she's ever really backed away from the Twigs thing. First time I've heard her back away from the Erica thing, back away from TPUSA, being very cautious about making any of those claims now. Whereas on her show, much more likely to be making those claims. So she just had nothing the entire debate. Zero.
Candace.
Per usual. Per usual. Per usual. That her little friggin' minions drive me insane because it doesn't matter what you present to them. Candace Owens could come out and say, I lied about everything. I did it for money. And her little minions would go, no, it's Israel. Israel is blackmailing her. We don't believe it.
Which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah. Can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But
This is the beginning of the video that we watched earlier.
want to make sure that we have
And she's trying to
them listed.
Yeah, but
she's trying to turn it into that he doesn't know all of the charges.
like
He says murder. She says, oh, no, it's not murder. It's aggravated murder. It's not murder. How could you say it's just murder? That means you don't know anything. It's aggravated murder. You're an idiot. All right, let's watch this clip because both sides are posting, oh, Andrew Wilson torched her. I don't think he torched her. I think he kind of exposed her for who she is. She's just never really been confronted on it. I'm surprised she did it. Andrew Wilson just went on Joe Rogan and said to Joe Rogan, hey, we offered her $300,000 to debate and she refuses to do it. And then all of a sudden she posts a clip of her watching it and she's like, oh, I didn't know they were offering $300,000. Let me do that because you got to pay to play with Candace.
Okay, so we're officially back. Andrew, before we go into the other issues you want to talk about, is it fair to say you're good defending your position of the overwhelming evidence?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. You take the lead. Go for it.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of questions for you, and I want to make it super painless, right? So no traps, no gotchas. I'm just going to ask them direct. And I think that as long as they're not loaded, if they're loaded, you should not respond yes or no. But as long as they're not loaded, if I just directly ask them, I'm hoping that you'll just give me a direct answer. So here's the questions that I have.
Wait, before we get into that, I would like to just reply to that. So just to be clear, we agreed to debate our claims, and then I agreed publicly that I have no issues having a conversation with you about other things that I've discussed that were outside of the court hearing and things like other evidence that's come across our lap and things that we've been speaking about. But I just do want to make it clear to viewers that for whatever reason, you think that you have a right to sort of depose me.
I'm not deposing you. I just want to ask you some questions.
You literally said that I want to be able to question you.
Well, this is a meta conversation.
Right,
we're having
but
a meta
okay, so
debate.
now we're transcending. Like, let's use a word to use a word that you're saying. But this is what you're doing, right?
Okay.
So this part to me feels like a bit of
am I allowed to ask the questions?
I've already said you can ask questions,
Then
but I
let me
made it
ask
very
them.
clear to you via email and with you in conversation that we should be speaking. This
Yeah, I
isn't
know,
like
but
you
I
get to
wanna-
sit.
I wanna
if
ask
said
you
if you
some
want to
questions.
depose me, you should join
I'm not
Brigitte
deposing
Macron's
you.
defense team.
This
But
is
you're
part-
like, I'm
this
just
is
going
a
to ask questions.
legitimate
Can you?
part-
She doesn't want to be questioned. Are you going to question me about my conspiracy theories? No, I want to be able to have a conversation. I don't want you to ask me questions. I'm Candace Owens. Nobody asks me questions. Unbelievable. It's a debate.
Answer it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know what you're going to ask, and
I
I'm
know.
going to answer
And if
as
you
I
have
see
issues
fit
with
because
it,
I'm not.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
okay,
get it.
Just so we're clear. 'Cause-
Usually in the debate, if something's not loaded, I'm just direct with
because
the
you kept
question,
saying
with
I'm
the
Joe
answer.
Rogan. They have no evidence. And now you're like, let's move away from the evidence.
You
Let's talk about transcendentals.
yeah, okay. Anyway, so direct question, super easy. Was Lance Twiggs DNA on the rifle, as far as you know?
We can't say that for certainty.
As far as you know.
I already answered that in the first part. We can't say that for certainty. I told you the context of which they spoke about those things.
So no, as far as you know.
We can't say that for certainty until we know what other the 5 sets of prints were on
So that
there.
would be no, as far as you know.
We can't say that for certainty.
You can say no, as far as I know, for certain.
We can't say that for certainty.
You can say that for certainty.
if your energy here is going to be like you're my dad and you can tell me how to speak or what I'm supposed to say, you're just going to come up against the wall. I'm
Okay,
familiar with
but-
this debate strategy.
but I am just
yes or no,
telling
yes or no,
you.
yes or no. We're not debating anymore. We're having a conversation. So I already addressed that in the first half of this about why.
No, we're still
there's-
definitely debating. This is still
no, it's not a debate.
This is
Now
inclined
this
to
is you
your
saying I want to probe
Yeah.
things that sit outside of the evidence. I actually already
That you've
addressed this.
stated.
You asked me.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to go like where you're
Okay.
sitting and I'm on trial. I'm not on trial.
Okay, great.
So
You should be on trial. And the second Tyler Robinson is convicted, you are going to be on trial, at least in a civil court.
Tyler Robinson's car.
Let's listen to this one. I haven't listened to all of these. We're breaking them down together. But, I mean, Candace is just... How can you show up to a debate if you are this person who is so confident and there's a 0% chance I know the case better than you do, I can list all 7 charges. You have no idea about this. I am the expert. I am Candace Owens. Okay, well, I just want to ask you some questions about some things you said. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Because I don't know what you're going to ask. I don't know what BS you're going to call me out on. Can't have that. Can't be questioned.
What I am telling you is it's the exact same way that when you tweeted, I think that this evidence is overwhelming. When they say that looks like Tyler Robinson's car, he drives a similar car, okay? They are inferring that that's Tyler
Can
Robinson.
you walk me through the inference? so that I understand.
It's not a fact. It's not a fact. When you show a blurry image, which you kept citing that we have
No, I'm
images.
talking about your inference that the fingerprints, even if they're degraded, equals Patsy. How do you get that inference?
I didn't say it equals Patsy. I think it is enough evidence that it should be explored, which is exactly what this preliminary was in the inverse.
That's not in dispute. What's in dispute is when you said, I'm using this as evidence that he could have been a Patsy. I'm asking, how do you get the inference to Patsy from that?
Because what I am saying is that it shows that somebody else had more DNA presence on that gun than Tyler Robinson did. So it is plausible, which is all they're doing. They're presenting plausibility based off of the facts, okay? It is plausible that somebody just took his gun and put it there. That's it.
Is there equally...
That's how it works.
And is there equally 100 other plausible explanations?
I think that's the reason why most people are exploring when things don't make sense.
Got it.
So yes, at the beginning of that, this is how the court process works.
So
just so we're clear,
if there's 100 other
state's
plausible
evidence, and they're
explanations, then Candace, why is it that we should go with this idea that it was a Patsy?
I'm not saying that we should go with the idea that it was a Patsy. I am saying that there is.
I thought that was the whole defense. Your whole
correct.
No,
today.
my whole claim was that there is more evidence that he is set up as a Patsy.
How does that equal?
Tyler Robinson himself is not even saying he was a patsy. At least Oswald called himself a patsy.
Well, evidence of Patsy.
I don't know how many times I can say this. Like I'm saying that I am using the exact same mechanism that you are accepting for some reason in the Utah courtroom.
Yeah.
Right. To say, I'm going to look at the evidence and I'm going to infer an alternative theory. So you just saw the states and you're accepting it. And they have not presented any concrete facts. You listed on your own Twitter that what you found to be convincing was something that looked like his car pulled into the driveway, a blurry image.
No, I didn't.
The standard white guy coming up the steps that could literally be anyone.
This never happened.
Can we get a fact check on that? Can we pull up his tweet where he goes over the four?
I didn't say that's what convinced me.
When you actually didn't say it's what convinced me, but you said this is the evidence that you found to be overwhelming, and you named, I believe, actually 5 things. I think you said it was his car. You said it was.
Well, there's multitudes of things that I find.
You just said you didn't say
evidence.
it, so we're going to get a fact check on that. You did.
Go ahead.
You said the blurry images coming up the steps. Quite literally, when Officer Bagley testified, they talk about when I'm talking about making inference. This is the most I thought was the most absurd testimony I've ever heard. And pardon me, it was actually David Hull. They asked him a question: how did you know the guy in the maroon shirt was the same as the guy that came up the stairs later that was wearing the American flag black shirt? And he said, they're wearing the same shoes.
Why is that absurd?
That's how you decided these two are the same people. Oh, wow. What a scientific. They're both wearing Converses. Okay. That's an absurd thing to say. That is not evidence that these are the same people if we're both wearing Converses.
No, if you're looking for suspects often change their shirts. They often bring backpack and sweatshirts and they dump them and run and change their shirt. They'll show up with a sweatshirt, then pull it off, dump it in the woods. Now they have a t-shirt. So your police officers are trained to look at pants and shoes and things that are less likely to be taken off. They also wear gym shorts underneath so they could take off their pants and run away. This is basic police work. And if that's how an officer compared the two, that's good police it's good police work. Does that mean 100% without a doubt it's the same person? No, but it's reasonable suspicion to stop them and say, hey, well, you kind of have the same shoes on as this guy who's over here shooting people, so you're not going anywhere until I figure this out.
That was what he said. That's what flew on the stand.
But I still don't understand how that would be absurd. If somebody,
it's an absurd thing.
For instance, if somebody were to change their clothes but keep the same shoes on, wouldn't you utilize the shoes to try to track that person? If
the
they were changing
idea
their
that on a
clothes?
college campus, 2 people wearing this totally different outfits, but both wearing Converses can't happen is such an absurdity that I don't even need to argue that. I'm just going to let people deal. Why is it absurd? Just concede that point. Obviously, it's an absurd thing to say.
I'm not
I know
sure,
these are the same people because they're both wearing Converse.
Yeah, I'm not sure if in context that's what happened. But even if
you can get a fact check on it.
But even if it is, again,
and it was
if we're utilizing inferences, whenever we're dealing with logic and we're dealing with making a logical inference, we're going to take the entire collaboration of evidence and then we're going to make inferences from that. You would do that with any type of logical proposition. Otherwise, you could never have a true or false claim.
But you just told me I couldn't.
So when that never happened. You're just making stuff up. So anyway, when we're talking about logical inferences, what I'm looking for is the logical inferences that you have that Tyler Robinson's a patsy based on the totality of evidence that you have.
We can keep going through your other evidence, but we should find his tweet where he lists the reasons that he was convinced.
So let's start with the 30-06. I think that's
This went on for 3 hours. And all of Candace's little minions are like, oh, go Max, Candace. You killed it, Candace. You did such a good job. All right, so we heard his closing remarks. I want to hear hers. When he, I'm sorry for the skipping around the videos and the time frame of the debate, but I want to hear her closing remarks after he said there was no evidence. She presented none, which she never has. I've watched her closely. I'm so sick and tired of talking about her, but I feel like you have to. But here are her closing remarks.
Well, I think that is quite a conclusion. Admitting somewhere maybe we stalemated, it probably signifies what I've been saying from the beginning, that you didn't feel that you were strong on the actual facts and the evidence, which I was willing to engage with you. I wanted to go over the screwdriver. I wanted to go over the towel and the things that you've mentioned, and you wanted to then move the conversation into a defense of Erica Kirk and her character, and what I've said about Erica, which is my opinion. And I have not edited that opinion after discussing with you. I would like to extend a compliment to you for being willing to sit down and to have the conversation. I still walk away feeling that the people who are jumping on the bandwagon about this case don't care about this case. They don't care about Erica Kirk. It tends to be follow that they take a meeting with Turning Point USA and they come out and suddenly have a lot of junk to say about Candace Owens. And I do want to also stress that Turning Point USA tried to pepper him with something as a surprise. He showed clips that were meant to be a surprise. I did no such thing. I stressed to PBD from the beginning that I was grateful he was taking this on and that I wanted this to be a clean debate because I believe I can win this on the merits. And I believe that I did win this fully on the merits by engaging the evidence of what has happened. I do still believe that there is more evidence which supports that there are more people involved and that Tyler Robinson has been set up, and that none of the evidence that was presented was in any way overwhelming, which is why I think you wanted to move to end that discussion quickly and to speak to me about France and to talk about this Panguitch receipt and my timeline. I want to remind people that a lot of the at-home investigators, which you were open to, as you called them, internet sleuths. I think it was on a show that you did right after Charlie was assassinated, that internet sleuths would solve this. This is the reason why Charlie, a year on, is still a conversation every single day trending on Twitter. I knew Charlie. I cared about Charlie. I care about...
Notice how she's not giving any evidence to respond to him saying that she has none.
Finding out what the truth is here. My heart is in the right place. I think anybody who watches my show or even just watched this debate knows that if I get something wrong, I'll instantly correct it and own it. I'm not arrogant. I don't need to sit here and pretend that I didn't misspeak on the Lance thing. It hasn't been ruled out. But you saw that he just really wanted to hammer that point. You know, part of being a well-meaning person is to concede when you are wrong, to take something off a timeline when you know it's not right. And I would like to think that that is why I have earned the audience that continues to follow me, because they know my heart's in the right place, that I deeply cared about Charlie and I deeply care about the answers. I want to thank Andrew's team who are providing the fact checks. It's a very small room that they're in. I want to, as always, thank my team who worked really hard to make this happen and flip the set. And to you, PBD, just for being a great moderator. I think very fair, letting us both speak and making sure that Andrew got out of this what he wanted, which is a little more than what I wanted, but I'm very content with how I dealt with this. And I trust, I don't need to convince the audiences with the magic trick of what they need to think about this debate. They can watch it and draw their own conclusions.
Beautiful. Fair.
No evidence to counterclaim. No evidence to counterclaim what she said. Unreal. Candace at her best.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
ask a question? I know it's been, or like, can I ask a question? Or are we
Not
just in
really. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
We're going to hold to the actual contract itself.
the contract does not say that you are allowed to just question me without me being able to respond to you
I've never said you
or
can't
have
respond.
a conversation.
You've been able to respond to every question I've asked you. And by the way, the other thing is like,
Let's have it your way. I want it to look like
Still happy
we've
to have
done
the
everything
debate.
Andrew wanted to, so that people can fairly assess the situation. So you have it your way. I
Totally
will not
fine.
ask a question.
Totally fair with me.
So are you good with her asking a question or
He
no?
said no.
Waiting for the clip.
Okay. So you want to wait for the clip first. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Here is Candace Owens saying you don't have to provide evidence. You just have to think.
Do you have
so
any evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I've never said they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So how could I say that I have evidence they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. So then you don't believe that they did.
I never have said that statement. So I'm not going to get you to ask me personal questions about things that I've never said on record.
Okay, fair.
Your team is sending messages in the back saying they have a video they want to play.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what the video is.
She looks a little nervous.
Yes, you said that there's a video you want to play that Candace said she has full confidence Israel was involved.
Yep.
Yeah. He said evidence that they killed him. I said
ahead
this
and
is why
play it,
people think
though.
their involvement.
So she
If
can
they have the clip,
Yeah,
they
if they
can
got
play
the
the
clip.
clip.
Yeah.
They're referring to a clip.
Yeah.
Via whom? My guess is Pierre.
Look at her face. Look how nervous she is. On the left top screen, look how nervous she is about this clip.
Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
I thought she said she didn't say that.
I have evidence they participated in the murder.
Eric,
I'm going to rewind it. Let's hear what she said again.
do you have
So,
any evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I've never said they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So how could I say that I have evidence they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. So then you don't believe that they did.
I never have said that statement. So I'm not going to get you to ask me personal questions about things that I've never said on record.
Okay, fair.
Your team is sending messages in the back. They have the clip.
Yeah,
They
I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
Okay.
I also
Involvement.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you
That's-
think you with full confidence you think that
Yeah, I think
that
Israel's
France
involved.
and Israel.
Yeah, I mean, the person that gave me that thing that I reported said that French Foreign Legion were on the ground that day.
Mhm.
Again, this would be
The French Foreign Legion really aren't even special. They're really not that special.
at a professional limitation for me to then go and probe that information that I handed over. I can't do that. I'm not
But
the
you
United
don't have
States
any
government.
positive evidence of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Right?
Liz, I don't. Can you just stop? It's actually just like annoying to hear you keep saying positive evidence. I've just asked me what I think, and I just tell you, yes, I think
Well,
they are
that's
involved.
a claim.
No, I said here's what I think.
I have every
I
right
think-
to ask you about your claim.
Yeah, but
and if there's
I said,
positive evidence
in
for
this
your
statement,
claim.
I literally just said I think, and I am allowed to think. And
Yeah,
you
you're
keep
allowed to
saying,
think,
do you have
but you're making
positive
a
evidence?
claim.
I have tons of positive evidence that I'm allowed to think. Yes.
I agree. You're allowed to think.
Okay. So
Nobody's disputing whether or not
yeah, but
Candace
like
Owens is allowed to think. What I'm asking is
but
you have
what's your issue then?
positive
What is your issue with the statement?
evidence.
I think
Uh-huh.
that Israel is involved.
That's
I
not
do.
what. That's not just what you said. You said
I did
that
say I
it's
think.
with full confidence.
Yes.
You
That
would
I
think
mis-
that if you had full
Can you have confidence
confidence
to think when you think?
If I said, for instance, I think I'm going to be late to work, right, with full confidence, I would say my evidence for that is that I'm 20 minutes away and I need to be there in 5.
Andrew,
That's how you would know whether or not you had full
I'm just gonna
confidence.
tell you something.
Hang on,
sister-
let me finish.
Sure.
If it was the case that I said I have full confidence I'm going to be late to work, I would say my evidence that I'm going to be is that work is 20 minutes away, right, and I have to be there in 5. So I have full confidence. That's why I would think that. So I'm asking if you think that Israel and France were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you say with full confidence, I'm just asking for the evidence, or at least walk me through the mindset of why it is that you could think that with
I actually
evidence.
don't have to walk you through why I think. I can give you something that I think with full confidence. I think with full confidence that you know you lost the substance of this debate, and now you're moving toward things that I have said that I think, which I can do. I'm
They're
allowed to think
pertinent to
that
this debate.
It's not exactly pertinent to this
It's
debate.
100% pertinent.
It's not pertinent because our debate
These are claims
claims
made about Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's the complete
but
substance of the debate.
no, actually, would you like to remind him of what our debate claims actually were?
And would you like to remind you said I could ask you about any of these things
I
to my
said
heart's
feel
content?
free, but you do not get to structure how I'm allowed to reply or ask me why are you allowed to
I'm not structuring how you're
think?
allowed to reply. I'm just asking you direct questions.
That's all he did. And she says, well, I don't have any evidence. It's just what I think. Right. So you don't have any evidence of anything, of any of your claims, of any of your accusations. You have zero evidence of any of it. And then she turns around and, I'm just asking questions. I'm allowed to ask questions. That's all I'm doing is just asking questions.
So, and I'll explain exactly what the groundwork is.
Mm-hmm.
When you make claims which pass the idea of I'm just asking questions because the state's evidence is not convincing, I think you have to answer for those claims because they are in regards to this case. You're saying, I have a claim. It is in regards to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is what we're talking about. Not just the case of Charlie Kirk, his assassination. You should have to answer for the claims that you've made in regards to the assassination itself. You should. Yeah, agreed. So if that's the case, then I would like to finally dive into some of that evidence and dive into it.
Well, just to be clear, and I'm happy to have you talk about, like I said, publicly, you want to engage in some conspiracies, but I said I want to make sure that we get to the substance of our debate. The substance of our debate
is the major
is
substance.
Me demonstrating that all of the quote unquote evidence that you feel that you have, which demonstrates that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
You don't find convincing. I get it.
It's been invalidated by the testimony that we saw, and in your answer for when I explained to you that he had the most degraded prints was I don't know. Okay, well there lies my ability to process that.
It's just fine for you to not be convinced up to this point. All of your viewers, everybody watching. You're conceding. Nobody's giving a dispute that if all your claims ever were just up to now, the evidence that the state's given, I'm just kind of not convinced. That is not what's been happening. What's actually been happening is that you've made tons of claims in regards to this case and in regards to the Kirk assassination, which are far above and beyond, I just doubt, the state's theory.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
So now,
at this point, I don't understand how anybody could believe her or listen to her, or it's just something people want to believe. They want to believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by Israel or Erica Kirk. They want the dramatic story. They want all of this nonsense. That's what they want. And here's exactly what you get. Candace is giving people what they want to hear. They want the rifleman on the grassy knoll. They don't want to believe Charlie was killed by just some normal college kid who is dating a furry trans person. They don't want to believe that. But here is Andrew Wilson on Steven Crowder. I believe this is after the debate.
We all know that there are people who will agree with you. And by the way, PBD's crowd mostly thought you won. We'll bring up our own poll. But you know that there are people who will already agree with you no matter what, people who will agree with her no matter what. Then there are some who have ears to hear, eyes to see. How do you think that needle will be moved from today?
I think it's the beginning of a snowball effect.
Okay.
So now that she's been challenged, I think, and had to give an accounting for the evidence, did a very poor job. I think that more of them will feel compelled to do more of these debates, or at least I'm hoping so. And I think that that'll create the snowball effect. At least that's what I'm hoping. But ultimately, there wasn't a need to push back too much on too many things because she just admitted that she didn't have any evidence for anything.
Well,
so
that
where do you go from there? You're like, hey, do you have any evidence for that? And they're like, no. She went back on all of her claims. And so, like, where do you go from there? In other words, there was nowhere I needed to go to demonstrate what it was I was trying to demonstrate, which is that these people have lots and lots of claims. And the second they're confronted with them, they back off on all of them. every single time. Her sources, what a joke that was. My sources told me. My sources told me. Well, what validates your sources? The fact that I've released some, footage and stuff.
Yeah.
How would that validate your sources in these things? That makes no sense at all. These, I think ultimately, I'm sure that there's going to be some negative clips about me, especially pushed by the Owens people. But ultimately,
I'm going to do some negative clips on you, but that's just for funsies.
of course. But ultimately, she didn't have anything. She had nothing. She literally had nothing. And so what made this an easy debate for me was that she didn't fucking have nothing. Like, what do you want me to do?
What I mean, he's right. Like we know she has nothing. We've been saying she has nothing, and they're going to try to twist this and turn this the Candace Owens people into something that is just completely not. It's nonsense. She has nothing, and all she has done is, number one, aided and abetted in destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy, destroying his wife, destroying his family, destroying their conservative movement, creating a split and a rift in the conservative movement because she is just a trash pail. She's a trash pail. That's what she is. That's what we say in New York about somebody who's just a garbage human being that we do not like. You're a trash pail. And that's precisely what Candace Owens is. She has been fired from every job she's ever had. She got fired. Charlie Kirk fired her from Turning Point USA because it's all about Candace. She got fired for the Daily Wire because it's all about Candace. She's never held a job longer. Ben Shapiro giving her the job at the Daily Wire was probably one of the biggest mistakes in political history, because now you have this conservative person who's pushing nonsense conspiracy theories that you gave credibility over the past 10, 12 years, and you made her a star where before she was nobody. So you put this lunatic on the map who is flying a flag under the name of the Republican movement, and it's nonsense. She has a lot of hate. My feeling is she has a lot of hate and discontent towards Charlie Kirk because he fired her. She wants to get back at Turning Point USA. That's where she started. Not to mention there's massive paydays, massive clicks in all of this. She just got paid $300,000 to sit there and go, no, that's not what I said. And then watch a video of exactly what she said and then turn around and say, well, that's not what I meant. I already answered that question when you didn't. But I'm telling you now, mark my words, put a pin in it, flag it. When Tyler Robinson is convicted of this crime and all of her claims are invalidated, Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk are going to drop a $100 million lawsuit on Candace Owens. And they are going to bankrupt her. They are going to take away everything she has. And they should. Because what she is doing is a tragedy, and it's disgraceful, and it's unethical, and it's willful. This isn't her just following pieces of evidence. This is her looking for pieces of evidence to try to figure out how she can turn that into her side of the story, to how to turn that into a story, the story that she wants to project. When you spend months turning around and saying, oh, I brought receipts, I bring the receipts. And then when somebody debates you to call you out on it and you say, oh, well, no, I don't really have any evidence, all of this is going to be used against her. Erica Kirk's sitting in her living room right now with a legal pad, taking notes. Yep, going to get her on that one. Her lawyers are sitting around a table. How can we get Candace Owens? Well, we have to wait. We have to wait until Tyler Robinson is convicted, because then there is no question as to whether or not this is liable. Then we're going to wait till after he's convicted and see what she says. Mark my words. That's precisely what is happening. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go to RyanFSamuels.com. Check out the blog. I'm going to write an article about this interview. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'm going to write it tonight when we hang up. But we will see you on Monday night. We are live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless your families. And God bless the United States of America. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.